refers to animals. So our country has a rich diversity of flora and fauna, that means plants and animals. Over 45,000 plant species are found and 81,251 animal species, which represent 7% and 6.5% of world's flora and fauna. So what are the uses of flora plants, rather flora? They are the source of food, fodder, firewood, fiber, timber, medicines, gum, tannin, and much more. Another use, they stop erosion, they provides habitat for the birds, reduce evaporation rate, provides firewood, release oxygen, and much more are the significance of these plants. Now the animals, they have the significance. They give us dairy products, meat, fish, antlers, fur, tusks, medicines, and there are another much more uses. So flora and fauna are classified by the International Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources into six categories, that's normal species, endangered species, extinct, endemic, rare, and vulnerable. You can remember it by NEQ or V. N stands for normal, E endangered, E extinct, E endemic species or rare, and V for vulnerable species. So NEE or V. These are the six categories which we have to study one by one. Normal species are those species whose population are considered to be normal for the survival. They are normally surviving. For example, cattle, sow, pinus, rodents. And endangered are those species which are at the risk of extinction. Means their number is going on reducing, they are going on disappearing, such as blackback crocodile, Indian wild, etc. Rather, Indian rhinoceros is one of the endangered species. Extinct are those species which are not found after the search of known or likely areas where they may occur. So they are disappeared from the environment, from our universe, such as China bull, pink-head duck, Asiatic cheetah. Endemic species, those species which are habitated in the particular area or restricted to the particular area. So they represent the particular area. For example, Andaman teal, Nicobar pigeon, Mithun in Arunachal Pradesh. So they are at particular area. Rare species are those which are very uncommon. They can include both plants and animals. They can be endangered, most rare species. Vulnerable are those species which are likely to become endangered due to the threatening circumstances for its survival and reproductive mode, such as blue sheep. So how can we conserve these forests and wildlife in India? There are many acts. For example, Act 1972. The Act 1972 is an act of Parliament of India enacted for the protection of plants and animal species, which extends throughout the India and state of Jammu and Kashmir, which has its own wildlife acts. So this wildlife 1972, it has six schedules. Schedule first and second enclose those animals whose when offended have to be paid highest penalty. Next, schedule third and four are those animals enclosed where penalty is much more low, and schedule fifth and 60, which may be include those plants which may be hunted. Amendments in 1980 and 86, several hunted butterflies, moths, beetles, and one dragonfly have been added to the protected species. In 1991, first-time plants were also added to the list, starting with 6 species. There was another project that we called Project Tiger. It was launched in 1972 by the government during Prime Minister Indira Gandhi tenure. So So what are the distribution of these forests and the wildlife resource? These are reserve forests, protected forests, and unclassed reserve forests are governed by the government with laws, and protected forests or semi-government. They may be protected by government in association with private agencies. Unclassed may be protected by an individual or government or semi-government. This is the distribution of forests in India, which includes these wildlife, plants, and animals. So, how can we contribute with community conservation? So, local peoples to manage and conserve natural resources within their social, cultural, and economic contexts of the community. For example, there was moments which refers this community conservation, like the first one, that's Chipko moment. In 1972, an organized resistance to the destruction of forests spread throughout India and came to be known Chipko movement. In this movement, the people embraced the plants, trees to protect them, and scared grows. Here, religious beliefs are thrown on these plants in order to prevent them from being hunting